Evening. Yeah, I need some energy in here. We are all very young people and social media active. So just you need to give me the energy you to troll people online. Are we ready to go? Good. Okay, so my name is Giovanni Caleb. I work with Star FM. I'm going to be your moderator for this evening, and I'm looking forward to a very great session with us all. It's going to be very interactive, so feel free to cut in any time during the presentations and then ask all the questions. Or alternatively, you can write those down and ask when the time is due. So let's start off by introducing our resource persons. They've been here for a while now. Apologies for the delay. I start off with one young man who loves a team I hate so much. He loves Chelsea. Oh, a round of applause for him, please. He loves Chelsea. And he's a business strategy officer with Linnaeus Services. He's had his MBA from Anglia Ruskin University and currently studying for a PhD. With a round of applause, please welcome David Mills. Yeah, very unassuming. We continue to show love to another young man. No, for gender balance sake, let's do a lady. And I don't mean that literally. Please, let's give it up for another young woman who is a great achiever by all standards. She believes that life is too short to spend it in one place. She loves her trips. She takes time off busy schedule to just engage with nature. She's the current HR director for Vodafone Ghana and started her career in Ghana with Multimedia Broadcasting Company Limited and Ernst & Young. Therefore, spent several years in the United States. And in fact, she's been everywhere and back. So she will give you that background later on. But with a round of applause, please help me welcome Hannah Ashokai Akron. Yeah. She holds a BSc in marketing from the University of Ghana and Masters in Human Resources and Industrial Relations from Carleton School of Management, University of Minnesota, and IAG School of Business, and also in Belgium. I mean, she's done everything. So another round of applause will do, please. Okay, we have a gentleman who recently got married. No, that's not part of the script. He's an astute marketer. He's got strong passion and background for digital and marketing communication. He's got over 6 years of experience spanning between telecommunications, e-commerce, and tech. He's been very instrumental in innovative campaigns for global brands like Tigo Ghana, Vodafone, Tonaton.com, Unilever, and Haptel. He's the current brand manager of Haptel, Mr. Bernard Kafui Sokwe. And he's also one of the pioneers of Echo, so yeah. Oh, he's the really shy type, so another round of applause to do. Yeah. Welcome, Bernard. And not to forget that he's hugely influenced Mr. Easy's music career. I remember him seeing me with, was it egg that you brought? Egg, fowl, sheep, white goats. So I play Mr. Easy's music on radio. Yeah, he's a man of many talents. So yeah, snap, a fool. All right, so that's Bernard for you. Let's move on to our next resource person. Another lady, Venustavia is her name. A round of applause, please. She's the director of business development at Now Available Africa, an entrepreneur. Yeah, she brings together a new world of integrated creative, traditional, and digital propositions. A woman of all. In her office, they call her the woman. Yeah, when you get there, you ask of the woman, they'll probably get you to her. And as a digital management, Venus shines a light on opportunities for brands, NGOs, startups, and influencers. So she's a big woman. Another round of applause, please. Last but not the least, a very short gentleman. Mr. Philip Ganda-Namfuri is a development finance analyst, business analyst at XYZ Broadcasting, holds an MSc in development finance from University of Ghana Business School, and a degree in geography and resource development with economics from the University of Ghana. He's worked in the financial services industry for approximately 2 years, and he's got a lot of experience. He blogs at philsopinion.com. Yep. And he loves new ideas. He loves the new trends. He loves to help people realize their potentials. And he loves social media. So a round of applause for Mr. Philip Namfuri. Yeah, he's that short. I have faith in my height. All right, so I present to you your panelists for this evening. Can we get a round of applause for them, please? And not just that, we're not going to limit it to them alone. We also have some notable personalities joining us this evening for the session. And also to let you know that we are live on social media, all the platforms you can think of. You can check out your snaps and check in the location and how do we even call that? Geoland? Okay, Geofence. Okay, great. We are there as well. So we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we've got to say, yes, the social media week has come to stay. But with a round of applause, let's say hi to our Twitter Masterclass session holder. She'll be doing that for us later this week. Erin Gracie is joining us here from South Africa. Give us a wave. Yeah. We'll give you a profile later on. And not forgetting my very good friend Phil Kudza. Yes, he's from Cape Town as well. And brand specialist. He's everything you want to build your brand. So if you are thinking of a startup after school, he's the right person to talk to. All right, so let's kick start by having your first words. As I said, it's going to be very interactive. We're going to have a session with you. And you might want to jot down your questions when that time comes. Feel free, and then we've given you the power, courtesy Vodafone, to do that. So feel free. You want to have a first bite?
I have the mic.
That's right. Let's do it.
I want to begin by just having some fun and seeing who's present in social media here. So if you give me a show of hands who's got any sort of social media handle. That's good. Okay, so now who's got a mobile here? Good. If you take out your mobiles for me, let's have some fun. Take it out, take it out. You got? So the person sitting next to you, I want you to turn to them, hug them, and take a selfie with them. Let's do it. You.
There we go. We're here.
You want to join?
You should take a selfie with
my phone is not good.
Did we do?
Selfie here.
Now,
okay, so
if you can and you've got access, I want you to post that picture on whatever platform you choose. And you tag in at SM Social Media Week. That's it. In this moment, by doing that, we're all connected. And that's the power that social media presents. We're all sitting together, but in the virtual space, we're connected. In our experiences, in the way that we're engaged, and we're allowing other people to be able to share that experience with us. And that's the power that social media offers. Now, for you as students emerging on your careers or exploring what your careers will be, I want you to think about what I challenge you to do in this space is to think about this simple thing that you enjoy doing, whichever platform it is that you're most active on. How can you use that and turn it into an opportunity for you, and also turn it into something that you could pursue as a career? Because the reality is, within our continent and Ghana, that's the space and the opportunity that social media has created. I come from an agency called Now Available Africa. And in the time that we've successfully migrated digital into our offering, so we're not just a digital agency, we're a neutral agency. And we specialize in delivering 360 integrated experiences. We have grown talent within that space to occupy and to fill the gaps in careers here. And that's the opportunity that you have too. I'll tell you a story. We visited a local college here for a project that we were doing. And we saw a bunch of kids really enthusiastically drawing and doing their illustration work. And one thing that I credit Ghana for, we're creative people. And at every stage of schooling, there's no excuse, but you have to study something creative. And it's something that you can craft a living from. I mean, that's the attitude. You learn it because at some point in life, you might need this craft to earn a living from. But these students, when we asked them, so we were curious enough, we're like, do you do all this stuff by hand? Like, are you painting these things on the walls by hand? And they're like, yeah, how else would you do it? We're like, what? In our space, we do all those things with technology. It's really unheard of. Like, it's very hard to find a pen or pencil to draw physically. But the scary thing was that these young people who were growing to hold careers and develop careers within a creative industry didn't have a clue that it's possible. And even if the facilities or the technology didn't exist within their environment, those who are lecturing them should at least have imparted that the possibility. It's possible to do. It's possible to do. So what we did was, in response to their is it possible? We took out our mobile phones, we took a picture, and we introduced them to what is the World Gallery and posted their beautiful works in a social media space, to which they responded, no way. And that's the possibility that social media offers you. It's looking at how what you do and you enjoy as a hobby, so whether it's taking pictures, creating lovely content, creating posts that go alongside your pictures, to realize that somewhere someone's been paid to do that as a job. And the opportunities that this industry is bringing, if you learn that as a craft, someone will find you and employ you to help them do it for a brand, a multinational. And from Ghana, the world will be your oyster. Thank
Powerful. Round of applause, please. Venesteria, just highlighting some of the many opportunities on social media and why we as young people growing up need to capture that space and then make good use of the many options we have. Now, Bernard?
Okay, Giovanni said a lot. Introduced me like I was some president or something. Basically, I love talking to students because I've been out of school for just 6 years. And within 6 years, I think I've done a lot. I've worked in Vodafone for 3 years. That was the formative part of my career. So most of my work ethic is Vodafone-led, sort of. And it's shaped me very, very well. I worked in Tonaton. I've worked on lots of innovative campaigns. And to tell you the truth, my first job at Vodafone, I got it through social media. So I used to be very, I still am actually, but 5 years ago, so I'll say wilder on social media, very loud, having being in the most controversial conversations, sort of having some kind of control over my following. And we all have Twitter and stuff, and we know what goes down in the DM. So one day some girl just slid into my DM, and it wasn't the usual slide. This time she says, I really like how you handle your social media presence, and there's this job at Vodafone that they advertise, and they want to revamp and revolutionize the way they do social media. So they want to crack it, because lots of brands are in that space, but they don't know exactly what to do. They're left-footed. So she's like, I like how you handle your social media presence. I think you can do this job. I was working in an ad agency then. I just come out of school doing my national service, and I'm like, I don't think I'm experienced for this job. Like, what do I know except what I do? She's like, that's exactly why you should apply. So I went to the site, I applied, I was there one day and I got a call for an interview. It was so funny, I showed up at the interview, all suited up, and when I was at the agency, my client at Tigo was present at the interview, waiting in the lobby with me. So I got there and he was sitting there, I'm like, I've lost this job already, like, there's no way I can compete with this guy. I went in there, had a chat with them, like answered all their questions well, seemed very energetic and hungry too. And by like halfway through the interview, one of the panelists asked me, what's your handle on social media? And I showed her my handle, and she's like, oh my God, like her husband always takes screenshots of my tweets and shares with her. And like all of a sudden the interview just became like a conversation. And by the time I walked out of that interview, I knew that I had gotten the job. Basically, everything I'm going to say here today is not theory or it's not from some website, but it's just going to be experiences and things that I've learned along the way. Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah.
A round of applause. Yes. He's touched on a more real situation from a personal experience, and I saw our faces when he said, oh, my husband took a screenshot of your post, and I'm sure you're wondering the latest retweets on your timeline, and you're shaking like, I've already lost that job. Well, let's get it from a more HR perspective, and well, let's introduce you. Hannah, you want to do this?
Yes.
Good.
It's
Hannah,
working?
for you. Yeah, it's working.
So I actually have a good story to share. I shared the link to tonight's event on my Facebook wall, and I got a message as I was coming in. So it was someone who had sent me a message and said, so here's my 140 character CV. And then, of course, it was telling me about, well, it said I'm an IT expert. I built and recently sold my IT company for $500,000. I'm looking to join Vodafone. Can we talk?
That's in 140.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, I mean, it just really struck me because I posted that, I think, about an hour ago. And it just really goes to show you the power of social media and how this one post that I sent, that someone who is very creative and obviously knows what they want, contacted me, and now we're going to have a conversation tomorrow.
Sure.
So that just kind of reflects the discussion that we're going to have today, and I thought that would be an interesting story to tell. I love telling stories, by the way. I have another story that will probably tell my age, but back when I went to, I first traveled to the US for my master's program. I love to eat. You can't tell looking at me, but
Very
I
evident.
do love to eat, and I do love my Ghanaian food. And unfortunately, I didn't know how to cook, and this was early 2000s. And so back then, you have to buy a phone card, you have to call home. So I bought a phone card. I called my mom, and she said, "Well, we're going to do it over the phone. So hopefully your phone card lasts an hour or so." So I had gotten all the ingredients. We went through the step-by-step process, and literally she showed me how to do jollof rice on the phone. Now, if it was today, I'll just write, just too many blogging sites, right, about jollof rice, and I can just Google and find out exactly what to do. So really, that's very, very powerful stories that I think really depict what we're here and the discussions that we're going to have. And for me, it's very exciting, especially working for Vodafone. And one of our biggest vision is to really ignite Ghana's digital revolution and leave no one behind as well. So our social media presence, how we portray ourselves as an organization and how we attract candidates as well into the organization. So I'm looking forward to having a good discussion with everyone.
Wow. Round of applause. Thank you very much, Anna. Dave?
Okay, I thought it was optional. Anyway, I would also share from an HR perspective because I work with an HR company. I think social media is no longer social. The things you talk about yourself on social media, the pictures you post about yourself, go a long way to define who you are. I'll share a story about a lady that came for an interview a couple of years back when I was on a panel. Now, we're interviewing for a communications officer role. And for me, she was about the most qualified looking at her CV. And in nature, we know that CVs just don't predict or tell entirely who a person is. But judging from the CV, she was the most qualified. And also had a nice persona. Unfortunately for her, when we went on her Facebook timeline, she had written, now this may sound funny, but serious business. I'm a beautiful, sexy babe. And the company that was hiring was that company that upheld the values of integrity. Now, one of the panel members said that this lady cannot be serious. These were her words. This lady just cannot be serious. Now, we went further into her album or into her photos and saw pictures, seemingly nude pictures of her that somebody had taken of her at the beach, tagged her with. It wasn't taken by herself, but somebody took them and tagged her with. And it further strengthened the fact that she could not be taken serious. And so this is a word of admonition to us, young people. Let's be more circumspect and serious with our social media pages. Have fun, but be professional to an extent. Thanks.
Wow. And I'm already itching to find out where we balance or limit the fan, because we all seem like very lovely, fun-loving people here. So let's wrap it up with Philip.
Okay, thank you very much, Giovanni. I'll share two personal stories. First one, how I got my job, and the second one, how I got my girlfriend. So I'll start with the job.
The second one first, please.
I'll start with the second one. Okay, so I was working in Zenith Bank somewhere 2015, 2016, and I was going home. I got to Stanbic Heights traffic light, and then there was this taxi driver trying to cross me, and I'm a very offensive driver, so I also did a whole vroom vroom thing, trying to bully him, and then he started insulting me. So I was quite pissed, excuse my language. So when I got home, I sat on my bed and I wrote something on Facebook, and I posted it. And one of my friends from the US, Rashid, he hit me up and was like, I should start a blog. I'm like, nah, I don't have the time because the bank hours are closed, they are tired and stuff like that anyway. So I started writing a bit, and finally I resigned from the bank and I wrote my first blog piece. It was about Doomso. At that time, I didn't have a generator, so 9 a.m., boom, light off. Then you wait for it, it comes on at 11 a.m., it goes off again, and then I'll call ECG. I even had to go and befriend this guy at ECG so that anytime it goes off, I don't have to call the helpline, I have to call him. So I continued writing, blogging, and stuff like that. And I went to do my master's, and it was very, more or less intensive. It was development finance, MSc. So it broadens your scope on issues like bank interest rate spreads, sovereign debt management, SMEs. So anytime I finish a class, I go and sit down in the library, I write something small on my blog or on Facebook. So every time I was posting something, I'll go on Bloomberg, I'll read, I'll share, and stuff like that. And sometimes you realize that on Facebook you had like maybe 500 friends. Then as time goes on, you get a lot of friend requests. People are asking you for investment advice, what bank they should bank with, and stuff like that. So little by little it grew, and then I have this friend, a very good friend of mine. He works at Publicis One, something, yeah. And that's where my girlfriend also works, and she was essentially reading my stuff and wondering, what's this guy saying? Every time he's talking about this, talking about finance, money, and stuff. So she asked my friend Ellie, who is this guy? She checks our mutual friends, finds Ellie, and then boom. So that's how I got my very serious girlfriend. She's sitting right here. I don't want to point her out because she warned me not to do that. So I would spare her, but that's how, yeah. She was more or less moved by what I wrote, because every time it was something specific, something particular about finance, business, economics, investments.
But before you get to your second story,
yes, please.
Has your style changed in any way since you started going out with her?
No, I still do the same thing.
You still rant like a lonely man?
Just that now, because of my job at XYZ Broadcasting, sometimes you don't have a lot of time because I have to be reading. I do a 10-minute business analysis show. It sounds simple, 10 minutes, but the reading that has to go into it to inform the 10 minutes because I'm not a journalist. So I don't do just scripting and presenting. I actually analyze the stuff. So I have to pick my notes and refer, quote this act and stuff like that. So it gets a bit time consuming and then you don't have time to do a lot. But once in a while, I still share stuff. So it was just this blogging, this stuff that I put online, and then a gentleman from Multimedia Group, Mr. Edianti, he's left. He's now with XYZ Broadcasting. He sees my posts and he just reads. He doesn't like, he doesn't comment, nothing. So I was there one day. I was there one day when he told a friend of mine, I don't know if he's here. Yeah, he's here. Emmanuel Oting, to call me. I should come for an interview at XYZ Broadcasting. That was just like somewhere in May. So I just went, and then they told me that they've been reading my stuff. They like the way I write, and from the interaction, they like the way I spoke. So boom, then they gave me the job, just like that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's my story. But
a round of applause, please. So clearly, you know, one thing runs through all we've heard so far, even before the main presentation. There are people who just talk to people they don't really see. I mean, just communicate to the virtual world. And people connect with them, you know, just through that platform. And what we are doing tonight or seek to achieve is that, I mean, your next move online would be very informed. So you know that many eyes are watching, not just the people who retweet on your timeline or people who like your posts or people who share your posts, not just that. You're actually reaching to an audience that you're not targeting directly. So how we need to be cautious and maintain all the standards, that's what we want to achieve here. So please, the floor is now officially open for any questions, and feel free and ask from any background as well. And remember to keep the hashtag SMWI Accra trending. We're already #1 on Twitter in Ghana, and I'm sure beyond. We are live on Facebook as well, live on YouTube and a couple of other places. So, yep, that is for you to know. But before we even continue, Bernard, your social media handle, your Twitter handle? Sorry, the mic.
MISTAMEISTER. Do I go over it again?
You want to check
MISTAMEISTER.
All right, Mr. Meister. And for you, Mr. Where? You're not on Twitter, but you're on Instagram, Facebook. It's closed. I like that. And how about Hannah?
My Twitter handle?
Yes, please.
Oh, at Ashiokai. So Ashiokai is ASHIOKAI.
All right. How about Bill?
At Minister David Mills.
Minister
David Mills.
You sing as well? No, ignore that. Phil?
on Twitter, it's at Philip Nanfuri. Facebook, Philip Nanfuri. That's my first and last name.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we are talking 140 character CV here. So any questions you have, you just raise your hand and I would get through to you. But whilst we wait for that, Bernard, you want to start off with what you prepared for us? No, feel free. Yeah. Okay, sure. Ladies first, I hear. So let's do that real quick. First question. First question, please. And can we have the microphone around, please? I have one there. Good. Mention your name. I'll prefer your handles. And then you can shoot.
Okay. I'm Julius Nano, and my handles are Julius Nano. Okay. I'd like to ask, how do you get the right audience on social media? For example, on Facebook, you see a lot of posts, follow for follow, like for like, blow my wall, I blow your wall. But I don't think those things or those people are going to give you the right kind of audience if you are looking for example, the presentations that were shared, the kind of people that were reading their posts are not the kind of people who post follow for follow and all that. So how do you get the right kind of audience, not compromising on your privacy on social media? Thank you.
All right. Who takes that?
Okay.
Okay. Glennis?
It's a good question. My response to you would be there are different platforms on social media and you use them for different things. Okay? So if we're looking at your career, you'd use LinkedIn, for example, as a form of presenting your CV and your professional self. On that platform, you put out your qualifications, but you can also be creative about the content that you use on that platform too. And there you can look for people who you've heard about in industry and grow a community that speaks to the type of thing that you want to do. Yeah? Facebook, for example, would be for your Facebook and Instagram, really, for your social activities. Instagram, if you also have a business, creative or a product that you're selling, in terms of the imagery, you use that to sell. So there's different platforms that you'd use, and you use them strategically in different ways. And it's understanding how to use those platforms too.
All right. Hannah wants to add up.
I wanted to comment.
Okay, sure.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so with followers, right, it's always advisable to get your followers organically. Even if it has to take you 5 to 10 years to make sure you get an organic audience, stick to it. Don't go and buy followers. Don't do any... it basically just needs to be organic, because there's no use talking to people who are not listening to what you have for them. So, like if you have what we call eggs or bots in your following, when you can tweet something and you have maybe maybe 10,000 followers, but you tweet something and you have like 3 retweets, because the people in your following are there because you drove them there. Like you're having a party that they're not interested in, but you bring them there to do what? You get what I mean? So even if it has to take you 10 years to put out the content that you feel will relate to your audience, and over time, people will retweet to bring other people to your page, and you build a very organic audience. It'll get to a point, you have a few followers, but when you tweet something, you have lots of engagement, lots of interactions, and that makes your page very relevant. Yeah. So don't do the whole follow for follow, like for like, go and buy eggs and
Blow my wall up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So, I mean, social media is where you actually create your personal brand. And so you're in full control and you decide what you want to share. And so, for example, if you're into, let's say, photography, you would post pictures on various photographs that you've taken on Instagram, on Facebook, etc. And then you follow other people who have similar interests as well. And then as you go on posting, you do get people who are interested in your stuff who start following you as well. So then you have like a relevant audience to what you want to do or what you want to achieve on social media. On the other hand, let's say you want to work for Vodafone. I would start following Vodafone and seeing what are they doing. Are they launching a new product? Are they doing a new promotion somewhere? Can you be there? And can you introduce yourself to people who are there and let them know how interested you are? So, it doesn't have to be, so different industries, let's say telecom or other industries, you just have to first identify what it is you want to be known for on social media. So then you attract like-minded people to your platform as well. But then you have to go the additional mile of posting interesting stuff as well, so that people will be attracted to your post and to your page. Yeah.
All right. Any more take? I think in close relation to that, we have one here. Well, someone would wonder, I mean, I'm a student, I'm supposed to be carefree, maybe I'm good at what I do in school, I what does that have to matter? I mean, what I put out there on social media, how does that relate directly to the job? That's if I qualify for the job in the first place. Because I think the story Philip cited was scary. If the lady was qualified on paper, but what does it really matter? I mean, can't you compromise a little bit on company integrity just to accommodate someone who is probably, or give the person the chance to prove herself? That's an HR question, so anyone?
I can take that.
All right.
And Philip was absolutely right. I mean, more and more companies, David, right? David, sorry.
David.
So more and more companies are looking to candidates' Facebook profiles, and your social media has actually become your reference check for most organizations. And so we do the reference checks, etc. But then now we have the extra place that we can go for free. And because everything you share publicly, I mean, there's the privacy settings and everything, but most people just share a lot of stuff, and you'll be amazed at what people will share on social media. So that's like a free reference check for me as a recruiter. And so I've seen your resume, I just Google you, and I find out what you like, what your likes are, if you have a blog, what you've blogged about in the past, if you've done trade shows, what trade shows you've been to, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a really powerful tool. And I mean, it's exactly right. Please do not take it for granted. Yes. And I have spoken to my nieces and nephews about this, by the way, that they do post some pictures. And so I do caution them that, you know, you have to be mindful of whatever that you're posting. And so if you don't want this to end up in the hands of a potential recruiter in the future, unless, I mean, you have to know what job you're applying for anyway. So if it's, you know, a more laid back, let's say, I don't know, like posting for like a lifeguard position, maybe the pictures of the lady in bikini would have worked. But for maybe a more corporate type position, that might not have been appropriate.
Wow. All right, so still more questions, follow-ups?
I actually wanted to make a quick addition to that. I think companies hire for values. It's very important. So every company has core values, and the core values that the company has is not for fun. They want people whose personal values are aligned with their core values. Yeah. So if we believe in integrity, are you a person of integrity? How do we find out? And let me say that LinkedIn is like your CV. Now, if the CV you submit to a company and the information you provide about yourself on LinkedIn does not correlate, it speaks to an extent that you're not brutally honest or truthful. So, for example, in your CV, we don't see you write you have a master's, but on LinkedIn you say you have an MBA. You know, that conflict of information can be problematic. You know, so I think we are saying one thing: you need to be very consistent on social media, and then also like Bernard said, be organic, build your audience. It starts even with choosing your friends. Fortunately, you have the opportunity to accept friend requests or not. It's interesting and scary how Malams have been sending friend requests to us lately. I don't know. I don't know where they are coming from. You know? Yeah, in the past,
they just examine your profile. Oh, you look like a future sacrifice.
Yeah,
let me just add you up.
Coming and all of that. So let's be consistent. Let's be professional, and let's be brutally honest with who we are. You can't forever lie about yourself. Some way, somehow, it catches up with you at some point. And you have a future to build. Every serious-minded company, most serious-minded, will go on social media like NASA to check up about you. And if they can't find honesty in terms of what you say you are and what your social media predicts or depicts, then there's a problem.
Wow. Now, let's look at the... Okay, you want to add to...
Okay, so most students have this, I'm a free spirit, I'm doing it for the gram, for the retweets. So they keep posting things that will get lots of retweets, like no matter how crazy it is. I believe in a balance. Like, you could comment passively on controversial stuff, but don't be in the heat of it. There should be, like, to me, I do a 60-40. So I'm myself 60% of the time, and 40% of the time I'm sharing brand-related stuff or stuff that will be useful for people. don't go hurling abusive stuff at people unwarrantedly. So there should be a fair balance. If you say you're a free spirit and you want to go crazy, then create a parody account which doesn't have your face, your name, and people just follow it for that. But if it's your page with your face on it, fine. LinkedIn will have all the serious stuff, but they will still go and check your Twitter, your Instagram, and they will try and reconcile both personalities to see, okay, this is your actual personality and this is what you want us to see as a professional. So yeah, there should be a balance, and you should be very careful what kind of topics you get involved in. Yeah.
It's interesting we are touching on some of the things to look out for in recruiting. I mean, I believe as HR executive or HR personnel, you touch on certain key things in integrity. I mean, integrity, the fact that your core values must be in alignment with what the company's values are, But are there some other things we need to look out for? Because I'm sure we are probably taking notes as young people coming out of school, as young people looking out for a job. We want to be in that space. So yes, because I know the instance where people would want to put up a face. I mean, if it's what I'm to do on Facebook that will get me the job, let me just put up a good character on there. So when I get in there, I can misbehave. We see people tweet with companies handle that digital managers tweet things they would have to tweet with their personal handle, with say their company handle, which has landed them in trouble. I mean, we want to be careful at this stage now, not when we are up there and things get too complicated.
I think in the spirit of what can you do on your platform to attract employers, it would be to show that you know how to use your platform, your chosen platform well. And I'm really speaking from a space whereby the opportunities that we see for career development in this industry, in my space, in advertising, in the digital space, there's a skills shortage. Like, I had a client that we needed to grow their Instagram page. It was like 400 followers a year ago. And so we did kind of a recruitment call. And this confident guy walks in, he's just like finished uni, and he sits down and he's like, I know how to use Instagram inside out. And I can take this account from 400 people to 5,000 in a month. And we're like, no way. There's no way you can do it. Everybody says there's no way that you can do it. His name is Ernest Quabbles. And he's like, no, I know how to do it. Like, I've grown, I can show you. My page looks like this. And it started from here, and this is what I've done to grow my fan base. So we gave him the job, and we gave him a month to achieve what he said he could do. He blew it.
Wow.
He, in essence, he demonstrated that we could employ him because he was doing something that he enjoyed, but more so, he could be employed to do that for a brand. And that's what you can do and create with the pages that you have. Master them, present them well. The content that you post, know that other people are going to be viewing it, and so make it as engaging and as exciting as possible. And when an employer is doing their search on you, you don't know. Also, it's not just employers who will be looking for you. There are brands. If you are a blogger and a brand is going to launch a particular thing, increasingly influencers are being used to amplify things. And we brought in like 7 influencers from different parts of Africa just because of what they do. They weren't seeking anything. They didn't even know that brands are watching what they do. But just because they were doing what they enjoyed doing and were doing it well and had a good followership and they were influential in their space, we brought them over. So do what you're doing well. Make sure that the content you're doing looks good and is engaging, and it will attract people organically.
Wonderful. All right. Round of applause, please. Wisdom 2 down for you. So more questions, please. We have the microphone going around. Okay, I see a gentleman there. Your name, and then just go ahead.
Hello. Please, good evening.
Evening.
I'm Ernest Nketiah-Dadom, and my Twitter handle is @ErnestDadom.
Nice.
I'm more of a Chelsea fan, though.
Sharp.
Mr. Mills said something about CV, and I want to know how your CV is supposed to look like, because just last semester, during the VAC, I went for an internship, and I was asked to bring my CV. 1100 boy, no experience. So I had to sit with my mom, supervising me, going on Google. I was done and I sent it, and they were like, no, this is not how they want it. So I should still try my best. Then after a week or two, he gave me, a standard form of filling out the CV. And
it helped?
Yeah, it helped.
Okay.
So I wanted to know how your CV is supposed to look like.
Sure.
With no work experience.
So basically, a CV is a document that's supposed to amplify your personal and professional achievements, and also portray you as somebody who can add value to whichever organization you find yourself in. Now, I'd like to link it to social media because of the conversation we're having. So Facebook offers you something called bio.
Yeah.
Now,
about.
Okay. Just when I was coming here, I went through a couple of friends of mine, and I wanted to sample what they've written about themselves. So I looked at those who are in the corporate and then those who are in the tertiary. There was one lady friend of mine. I'll just mention her first name. She's called Ajua, and that's because there are many Ajuas in the world anyway. So Ajua says that I'm a loving bae, wonderful to hang around with, and I enjoy people. Now, this could be a perfect description of who Ajua is. But can Ajua use that space to project herself professionally? So what I have written about myself is that I'm a management consultant, and then I've put in brackets strategy and HR. So without knowing who I am, without meeting me, if you go on my Facebook wall or page, you get the impression that this is what I do. And so if you're looking for somebody in that field, you're likely to engage me. Now, CVs have gone beyond, and for young graduates or young students like yourself, your CV should not go more than a page or a page and a half. I've seen pages as long as 7. And it's interesting what people write in these CVs. Talk about their hometown and their father's hometown and the name of their dogs and all of those things. So it's the shorter, the better, the simpler, the better. But more importantly, social media offers you a platform to communicate who you are. Every day, through your posts, through your pictures, and through the conversations you engage in, you are writing your CV, telling your story. And so it's not so much about what you have on a paper. I think the gentleman that asked the question, I'll send you a template of mine. Somebody says that the best way to do something is to see what has been done before and model yours after it. There's no need, there's no point trying to reinvent the wheel. So I'll send you my CV, which I also copied from an international world-class manager anyway. So the person submitted a CV a couple of years back, and I dubbed mine after her. So I'll send it to you. And this is somebody who has 3 master's degrees, had worked with Cummins Incorporated in the US, and her CV was not even more than a page and a half. So that's simple, but it detailed who she was, her personal values, her personal value proposition, and then her professional achievements. So use social media to amplify who you are. It's a perfect space to tell your professional self. That space about can be used professionally, not just about your fun-loving side, but you can project yourself professionally.
Like that. How many of you have ever been in a situation where someone's CV gives you the scare? Maybe you're going to photocopy yours, it's half a page, and you get there, and the guy's, it's like, maybe it's a print center or whatever. He puts in the pen drive, the size of the file freezes everything. You're walking around with not even A4, A2, because that's half the page. I mean, so it's very important that we touch on this CV and what it reflects on you as a person, your values and what you believe in. Okay.
He asked what to do if you don't have experience. And within that space, I think it's not necessarily professional experience. It's about drawing on your experience as a student, your experience in life, and bringing that alive on paper. So if you haven't worked before, you can show examples of how maybe you've been a leader in your family situation. And you can tell that story and draw out the key skills that would appeal to an employer. So we've all been there, like however many years before, I had no experience. But you had to take that leap and secure your first job. How do you do it? You draw on, okay, I'm the eldest of however many siblings. In order to get my brothers and sisters to school in the morning, I had to do X, Y, and Z. It shows that I'm able to lead. And that's the story that you can lift from your life outside of work and the everyday things that you do and bring that alive on a document that begins to sell you at the very early stages of your career. So it's not about having work experience, because everybody starts from a point where they don't have. But draw on your real life situations and bring them to life on paper.
Wonderful. Yeah, Anna, before.
Yes, I was going to add that. So be it your paper CV or your online profile, just be very clear about what you want if you're actively looking for a job. So one, I need to know who you are, what you have to offer me. That is really, really important, and where I can locate you. So regarding what you have to offer me, I get so many messages on LinkedIn, and a typical one would say, I just finished my marketing degree at the University of Ghana, Legon. I'm looking for a job. Can you help me? So that really doesn't do anything for me at all, because then I have to type back and ask you, what are you looking for? Well, and sometimes they don't even specify what they studied in school. They say, well, I have a bachelor's degree. So please, I'm looking for a job. Anything. I can do anything. Please, please, please avoid doing that, because that just tells me that you don't have direction. I need you to be focused and for you to tell me exactly what it is that you're looking for. I know that sometimes people send that because they think that they might have, this, basically you just want to leave it open, right? And so anything that's available for the organization that they can recruit you for, but believe you me, it doesn't work. Just be very, very focused. If your interest lies in marketing, if it's PR, be very clear that that's what you're looking for. And if you've done anything to that effect in the past, tell me about it. And don't talk about your responsibilities when you were at so-and-so company. Talk about your achievements. So I was in this role for 2 years, and in that role, I managed to save the company 10% on revenue by doing so and so and so. So that tells me better what you have done and what you can offer me than you telling me that responsibilities included sales. Because then it doesn't really tell me what it is that I should find interesting in you versus the next candidate. So the next candidate might have a leg up on you because they were more descriptive about what it was that they achieved in the prior company.
Wow. Right, Phil?
Okay, nothing too different from what Venus and I has said, but because I'm a bit younger and they're a bit older, I would say the mistakes we made when we were in school was that you enter Legon, I was in Legon, you just run through your 4 years, you don't do any social activity whatsoever. So when you're done, your next gig is national service, you are waiting for it. Prior to that, some of my mates were BHJCR, SRC staff, choir staff, programs, activities. On your social media platforms, maybe on Facebook, you can put it there. You are a this, you are a that. I know some people who have gotten gigs from the fact that they play the piano. I have a friend who plays the piano. He puts it on Facebook, and churches call him. They give him something small. If it's not money, they give you a free ride there, food, something. So as you are walking through the school, it's not just about going for lectures and getting your A and you come out. Try and join other activities. If you don't have direction, wait it out. Try things. Me like this, I did things, I stopped. I went to do Chartered Institute of Banking, I stopped. I went to do law. After 2 weeks, I stopped. Try things. Continue doing things. finally you get what you want to do. If you have direction, start doing things that you know where you're heading. If you want to do marketing, you want to do banking, start doing small things so that you build up from there. You can put in your social media and stuff like that. As you grow into a proper job, and then you can put it on your CV, and from there you can have something to stand on. Yeah.
Wow. All right, so I'm sure 10 years ago, no one would have seen a whole week dedicated to social media now. Today we're here to talk about social media, its impact and all that. I'm beginning to feel worried that in future we might not even have the traditional way of having interviews anymore. Maybe that retweet will guarantee you a job. Is that even a threat to the HR process in any way? Or it's a good thing?
It's definitely an addition. For now, I would say that we still rely a lot on the traditional ways. The face-to-face is always important. And it doesn't have to be face-to-face like you coming into the office, because there's HighView, which Vodafone now uses very extensively, which is basically gives you the opportunity. So I sent the interview questions over to the candidate.
Wow. Way ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly. So the candidate gets a link to do a video with the questions. And so they actually do the video, they answer the questions, the link gets sent back to me. I review their video with the answers, and I pass it on to the hiring manager to see if they're interested or not.
Wow.
And so that's our first screening process for most of our graduate programs. That's our first screening process. So it's definitely going to be an enhancement, and probably will move more and rely more on that. But for now, I would say that we still do rely a lot on the traditional.
Wow, interesting.
I think I agree with her totally, but I also think that your online personality can be very different from your offline personality. There are people who are very loud online, and in as much as HR looks out for people's personalities online and their LinkedIn, it's always good to see the person face to face, so you can tell if it sort of tallies. So yeah, there are people who are loud online. You meet them in person and they are very chill. Like, I'm 10 times more confident online than in person. People see me and like, God, you're this soft-spoken, but online you're this loud. So sometimes I feel like the interview process will never phase out, because you still need to meet the person and see, this energy you're exuding online, is it the same energy you're going to exude when you come into meetings, or we give you a project to handle, or you have to do a presentation. So I think the interview process will still end it all, but your online personality still needs to be beefed up. Yeah.
All right. I'll be coming back to the question session, but there are times where maybe people in your office, your digital feedback session, probably try to hit hard at people who maybe want to take your company down. Maybe someone just goes onto Twitter, 140 characters, Vodafone is the worst network in the world, and you trying to defend that. All right, so back to the question.
Sorry, just a very quick one.
Okay.
When you work with a company, let me mention this. When you work with a company, you cannot separate your personal brand from the corporate brand. It's very important. So, in as much as you want to portray a certain persona on social media, you also ought to be mindful of the personality of the company you work with, so that you could be found wanting if your personal utterances and your personal philosophies are in sharp contrast with the company's. So if you work with a company that has high levels of integrity, etc., you've got to be very ethical. What it means is that you cannot even tell simple lies. You could be playing a prank, but it can be that serious, and a company can interpret it as you misleading people. So once you work with a company, like somebody says, you're a slave to the company. You've got to identify yourself with the brand of the company and live as such, both when you are in the office and outside. And hey, today your employees watch you. You have your direct boss as a friend on social media. Your CEO could be your friend on social media. If you post anything funny, they could draw your attention to it.
Wonderful. Oh, a round of applause for our panelists, please. All right. The mic.
Thank you very much. My name is Patrick. I was a student of this August University some time back. I'm a dentist by profession. Back to, I think, Dave. You mentioned that at a point, some people's CVs that they submit in paper should match what their social media platforms show. Sadly, my neighbor had a case where he was laid off by one of these banks and he needed a job elsewhere. So I was helping him out. He forwarded his CV to me and I spoke to a couple of people. Sadly, anyone who reviewed it said he was overqualified for whichever option he could be given. So he literally had to chunk
Take out
a couple of things, and then they called him in for an interview. Then he says that he plans to review or update the CV as they go along, that, oh, he has an MBA, he has a this, he has a that. How do we marry that from what you were saying before?
Quite an interesting scenario. I think this bit about being overqualified for a job is serious. Now, when you are a little bit desperate, and somebody says that job means you are just over broke, when you're a little bit desperate sometimes, and you've been at home for a while, we've all gone through those experiences. You really want to get back into a job because you need to survive. Now, being overqualified means that if the company is hiring a sales executive role and they want to pay 400 Ghana cedi, and your CV says that you have a master's plus 5 years experience, they certainly cannot dictate that salary code to you. So then, if you want to make a compromise, and this is a personal decision, very, very, very personal discretion, if you want to make a compromise, I don't think the best bet is to take away things from your CV. You can accept the offer. I mean, companies make offers. It's up to you to accept or decline. So this is what we can offer. Depending on your situation, if you want to make a compromise, you can accept or decline. Now, don't forget that for every opportunity that you decline, there's somebody who is readily available to jump in. It's believed that for every role that is advertised, there are thousands of people that bid for it. And so this is very personal, in my opinion. I think it's a personal discretion. You need not take away certain portions of your educational qualification of who you are purposely because you want to make a compromise for a job. You can accept the offer. The company may still make you an offer. And I've seen one before. I was part of a panel where we interviewed a gentleman who had finished one of our universities, had about 4 years post-grad experience, and the salary quotation was not more than 300 Ghana cedi, but he said he would take it. And I knew why. I mean, it was I engaged him afterwards, and it was very clear that he had been home for long and wanted to fix himself. Sometimes these opportunities could be a leapfrog to something better. So it's very personal. I think you can maintain, even if you have a PhD, and I have a lecturer friend at GIMPA who finished a PhD and wasn't getting a job. In fact, she had to go and intern in the States and later came down before she got a lecturing opportunity at GIMPA. So it's very personal. You can keep your CV as it is. The company makes you an offer, will pay you 50 Ghana cedi. I take it. When you get in there, prove your worth. You see, the thing about jobs are that it's an opportunity for you to prove your worth. And if you merit it, it's just a matter of time and you scale up. I don't think that any company would deliberately hinder your growth if it is very evident that you are a value creator. I don't think so. So it's a personal discretion. You can take it or not and move on.
Sorry, can I add something quickly?
Sure.
I was going to say that you should also mirror your CV to the particular posting. So, some might do a one generic CV and then use that to apply for 10 different roles. That could also impede why you're not getting a role because recruiters are looking for keywords. And so, for example, if I'm posting for an HR role and I have in the job posting, I'm looking for somebody who sets strategy, organizational design, change management, etc. So you look at the job posting and ensure that you have some of those keywords in your resume so that if I do a search on LinkedIn, on social media, etc., those will come up in addition to the background that I'm looking for. So look at if you decided that you want to apply for a position that is way lower than what you can do, well, first of all, you have to question whether you'll be motivated to stay in that role for a period. But if you are and you want to go forward, then you have to look at the posting and then make sure that you match your resume to the keywords that they're looking for, and that would be easier for them to find you as well.
Lovely. As we continue, don't forget the internet never forgets. Sometimes if you want to test this theory, you check your Facebook reminder, it humbles you. Sometimes you look at it and it's like, wow, was I really this dumb? Anyways, next. Yeah, sure, the lady here. The mic.
Hello, my Twitter handle will be @Ivagashira, and I have two questions. First one is, we are all young in our professions, or we are only starting our careers. So how do you make content? Content that is, one, even consumable, or content that will be interesting? Number two is about the Google search. I have done search engine optimization, and unless you're very, very patient, you won't find my name. So what can I do about it?
We'll start early.
Yes.
Like that. Okay. Is that two questions? Okay, we'll take that. You want to? Okay.
Yeah, okay. I completely understand. We've all been where you are in school, and you haven't had a job yet. But there's just so much you can do to build your brand. There's volunteer positions available, even if it's at your church or on SRC. There's various things you can do on campus. So, for example, I volunteered it was a student magazine, and so I was on the editorial board of the student magazine, and I love to write. So back then, of course, there was nothing like that. But now, if I was doing something like that, I would make sure that I was posting the stuff that I was writing, and also talking about my volunteer activities, whether I'm on the SRC, here are some of the things that I'm very passionate about changing, life on campus for students. So, you have to go out of your comfort zone and find something that interests you. Like I said, if it's traveling, if you love to travel, blog about, your travels. And by and by, you start building a presence for yourself, and it's something that you control. It's your page, so you are in charge of, telling the world exactly who you are and how you want them to perceive you, and where your interests are as well.
You want to add?
And is anyone like an entrepreneur here? Like, would you call yourself an entrepreneur? Anybody? Okay, it's good. So create the experience that you need. That's it. Create it. Find something that you can do that shows that you can do the job that you want to do. And share it. You don't have to wait for someone to give you a job to be able to show that you're worthy of doing it. If you want to do it, find something that you can use to demonstrate. You can be something small, I sew. I want to be a designer. I made this for myself. I made this for somebody else. I want to teach. So I teach my younger siblings, my nieces, my nephews, maths, English in my spare time. It's showing that you've got a skill that you want to use for a job and you've applied it to something. Not because someone's paid you to do it, just because you've got a passion for it and you found the avenue to do. And then you can share. And then you begin to build the experience for yourself. Somebody will hear about the fact that you can do this and they'll refer you. Slowly, you build your profile. I think in the paying, the thing about paying to boost yourself is something that a brand would do. Not to say that individuals were not a brand, but in drawing attention to yourself or wanting people to notice you, you can do that by the more experience you get, the more exposure you get. You'll Google yourself. So you'll find a whole list of things about yourself in years to come. You know, you don't need to pay for it at this stage. It will come. But you have to put in some energy into kind of building that history there. Okay?
All right.
I'm sorry, I want to contribute.
Okay.
So from time, like even before we came out to school, but any corporate person will tell you that, oh, to get opportunities, you have to network. They keep saying network. And yeah, it's harder to walk up to someone to introduce yourself and say, please, can I have a little of your time? Show them something. It's harder, and that's what people have been doing over time. But now we have social media, and you're in school. I remember before I came out of school, I used to work in Echo Magazine too, and I used to follow key people that I looked up to. So I go online, I see this person, Rudy Kwachi, I see Jesse. I just go and I'll be following them, and if they tweet anything that interests me, I'll retweet it, I'll tweet at them. Sometimes they might not respond. But before you know, it got to a point, they started seeing that account constantly. Before you know, you get a follow back one morning. Then you're also tweeting things about what you do. Before you know it, then you're building that network. You wake up one morning, someone has DM'd you, someone that you actually really look up to has DM'd you about something. You can also send a link to them. Oh, check this out. And before you know it, then your network, like half of the people that are on my social media, I don't know, I haven't met them personally. There are people I've done jobs for, there are people who have startups that have helped with brand consulting I've never met before. But they just follow me, we tweet at each other like we are friends. Other followers see it and they feel like, oh, we know each other, but we just know each other on Twitter or on Instagram or something, and they'll DM you something, say, oh, I have this project, you have a Skype call. Before you know it, you guys are like friends for like 2 years online. And that's how you build your network, and that's how I built my network. Like Giovanni, I met him in school because I was having an event,
and I did the voiceover.
Yes. Right. So that's how you build a network. Beryl, so many people. Venus, I met her in a briefing session. It's like that. You build a very big network without realizing it. And you might not know so much, but the little you contribute online could actually get you somewhere. Yeah.
And in that same vein, that's how you hurt people. You never know you're really hurting them. You meet them in real life and they show you Pepe. All right, next.
Hello, I'm Abrefi.
Sorry.
I'm Abrefi.
Mic volume, please. Okay, try it one time.
I'm Abrefi.
Okay, Abrefi.
Yeah, please, I wanted to ask, during recruitment, and you want to check up on who you are recruiting, and the person is not on social media, would that go against the person?
Will that influence their decision to keep you? All right, sure. We'll take that. And I think we should take more than a question, so we'll take turns to answer them. And so we can pass the mic around.
Hello?
Yeah.
My name is Derek. I'm at _Mwiti Derek. So my question is, there's some of us here who are entrepreneurs, but then they're still open to opportunities out there. So how do you balance that online profile? Because sometimes HR managers are skeptical about hiring such kind of people because they might be worried that you might just decide to quit 2 months or 1 month down the line.
Did we get that? Sorry, we didn't get the last part of your submission.
Oh, the last part.
The question itself, sorry.
The question is, how do you strike a balance between that, your online profile, because, for example, if you come out as someone is maybe too entrepreneur and you still want to go for a job opportunity, they might be worried that you might quit your job 2 months down the line. And I'm sure she wants to hire someone who is there to stay for the long term.
All right. Last one.
Thank you very much. My name is Lucky. I have 2 questions, actually. So the first question is, being students or at this age, we're discovering things, we're in our discovery process. So we don't exactly know what we stand for or what our brand is. So we tend to put out anything that interests us at all because
Yeah.
we're still discovering.
From
But
Pent,
then,
from
yeah.
Pent to Ifya.
One corner. But then here's the case where when social media was introduced to us, it was all about fun and games. It's a place where we can network and have fun with our friends. But here's the case where the corporate world is eaten into social media. So how do we put out content that will be safe for the corporate world, but then allow us to have the fun that we're having? And then secondly, I've forgotten the question.
No problem. We'll get back to you. Thank you. All right, so we'll go for the very first one. She asked about what if I'm not social media savvy? What if I'm not the type that loves social media?
So,
No, I
sorry,
don't
can I cut in? I remember
Sure.
now.
Okay.
Okay, so my second question is, there are people that have the ability to be diverse, that they can fit into any field at all. So they don't actually have a particular thing they stand for. How do you balance putting out your character of diversity with branding it to a particular thing? That's my second question.
All right.
Okay, I think I was going to answer the question about if you don't have a social media presence. Look, I mean, unless I'm recruiting for somebody to manage my social media page, the organization, or something that requires you to have, a social media presence, that really shouldn't go against you. But I mean, that said, in the environment in which we find ourselves and in this age, it will be a little weird for someone not to have a social media presence. But hey, you could have good reasons for that. So unless I'm actually recruiting for somebody who needs to have that skill, I think that should be okay.
Does that mean the person is not a team player in any way or sense? Okay. All right.
No, I mean, social media is actually, I think, more individualistic, actually.
Okay,
so that shouldn't say anything about your teamwork.
And then we got the other one on entrepreneurship. Yeah, sure. Venus will want to take that one.
Hello, Lizzie.
Yeah.
Most people on my team are entrepreneurs. They do something else. So it's not a hindrance. I think also with the use of social media, the different platforms allow you to be able to link to people or employers who would maybe have an interest in the fact that you do have that capacity. So it shouldn't be something that you hide. Often it evokes other conversations about what's possible for you. And I think as long as you can demonstrate that within the position that you're applying for, that there's a commitment to do that job and to stay with the company, then I don't think that there's a problem. And I don't think it's something that you should hide either. I think in our culture in Ghana, most people do more than one thing. So I think it's more of a plus than something that you should hide in this day and age as well.
All right.
Giovanni.
Yeah, sorry.
The
Phil.
lady at the back.
Yeah.
With a question about growing up and not knowing what you want to do now and trying to explore.
Sure.
I would agree with her that yes, you should try a lot of things. Me personally, like this, with my little cousin, she's in Legon. She would tell me that we should snap. Personally, I don't like that thing because I'm driving and then we want to snap and I don't get it. But sometimes, just out of fun side of stuff, we should do it. But you should do it with some sense. Excuse my language, if I can say so. Sometimes we post a lot of weird stuff. Somebody's rolling, smoking, and he's put it up. And you're wondering, what are you trying to tell us?
Hashtag Queen Chimney.
Somebody's in a... Somebody's driving his Mercedes on the motorway and he's showing us his speed. What should we do with it? Somebody's in a watcher line and he's telling us he's in a watcher line.
Yeah,
what should we
is
do?
bay.
Those things, it's fun, but sometimes it gets a bit vague and we should be careful of what we are putting out there. Have your fun, do your stuff, go out with your friends and stuff, but please be careful. Sometimes we tend to put a lot of our lives on social media. So there's a breakup, then people start checking from your Instagram pages and see if your pictures are still there. If it's not still there, then you are broken up. If it's still there, you're still going out. Stuff like that we should just be careful of it and be measured in what you are doing. That's all I'll say.
Wonderful. Measured fun, huh? Right. We close in 15 minutes, so we want to wrap up the questions. Okay, sure.
Add a little bit to the question about the entrepreneurship guy. The guy asked a question about being an entrepreneur and working for a company. I think ostensibly we all work to learn. The objective of working is to learn. And increasingly, the millennial workforce are highly entrepreneurial. So they would want to start their own business, some 2 years from now. Some actually study while they are in school. Some attempt, fail, get back into corporate life with the intention of learning or mastering a few skills and stepping out again and all of that. There's nothing wrong if you have an ambition of setting up your own business and so you want to work to learn. But hey, be committed to your employer or to the company you work with. It is funny how HR people, and maybe now would attest to this, are able to detect when you're disengaged. They just know, it's a gut feeling. Anybody who is an HR person is that sensitive to tell that this guy is disengaged. When your company no bijay. And when it's evident, and some way, somehow, you affirm it by your own actions. You start coming to work late, you start giving excuses for not meeting deadlines, etc., etc. I think that it's fine if you want to start your own business, but hey, take advantage of where you are to learn. There's this guy called Emmanuel Olumude. He's a Nigerian pastor, entrepreneur, businessman. He says that if he had opportunity to work in a company, he would work across all functions of the value chain. So he will go to operations, he will go to marketing, HR, strategy. He will learn as much as he can because ultimately your value in life is determined by how much you've learned. All right.
All right. Okay.
Hello, my name is Isilfor, and Mr. Meister, right? Yes. You said something about networking and that people should follow those who they look up to on their social media, and someday a miracle will happen. Now, me, I love Musical.ly, and Musical.ly is not an app that is.
You love what? The Musical.ly app.
The Musical.ly app. It's not
the karaoke sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not a thing that is really in Ghana, but I love it. I feel like it helps me express myself and my feelings. Now, it's not just for Musical.ly, but for a lot of other apps. Let's say I look up to someone and I follow the person, and this person is following 6 people, and about 1,000 and something people are following her. Who makes it like what will I don't know? Like, how this person follow me? How this person watch my Musical.lys? How like it's discouraging. It's very discouraging. So I just want to know how. Do you continue to follow this person and to look up to the person, or change your likes? Or what do you do? I don't know.
I get it.
Okay, I'd like to relate this to music and my experience with Mr. Easy. So in the beginning, like, you know, an upcoming artist, always trying to get features, calling people, oh, we want to feature Stonebwoy. They'll say, please, we haven't heard your song before, please. Or we'll charge you $20,000. Then, oh, outrageous. Then you go away. So basically, it got to a point we just realized that, okay, we have to work on our craft. We have to make sure we are ahead. So we stopped trying to do features. We started getting the guy to put out more content, work hard. And with his work rate, it got to a point we'll be sitting there and Saturday message him, boss, I want to do a song with you. This person will hit him up. Stonebwoy, I want to do this with you. Joey B, make a proof verse for your song Top. And it's the same thing with the Musical.ly thing. I know there are pages on Instagram that there's a girl, I can't remember her handle, but is it Maraji? Yes. Maraji uses Musical.ly so well, and she becomes so big that, like, recently I saw her in some video, I see her in ads. Before you know it, like, so you need to, like, make you know what you want, focus on your race, do your thing, you understand, and do it very well, that to get to a point, that person who is following 6 followers, who has only 6 followers, who is following only 6 people, would hit you up and be like, someone sent your video into my WhatsApp, can we work together? So you don't have to depend on someone to make it, so also build your space, and you make it, yeah.
All right, we take 3 at a go because our time is running fast. Okay.
My name is...
Actually, let's come this way. So we'll just do it nice. You don't have to sit down. Come,
My name is Alpha Ali.
Please listen to instruction. Yeah, thank you very much. You have a question, just come this way, you ask, and then you go sit down. Let's keep it that way. Very simple. So we'll be out of here in no time. And whilst you come, let's remind our panelists. I'm sure after all this, we want to find out how to recover. How do you, from now onwards, put stuff that would only add value to your life and help your process of looking for a job? So we'll have that. This way, yeah. This way. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My name is Alpha Ali, and I'm from Dr. Open University.
Good.
I am a journalism student, and I've been a victim of this. Sometimes I think I post very important content on my walls, and the likes or the attraction I get is quite meager. I don't want to even...
You like your own sense.
Absolutely. It's quite frustrating. And then you look at the other person somewhere who is posting only an exposing body, but then she gets a lot of likes, and then I'm thinking maybe this Facebook is not for me. I should just quit and consider doing something else. But then I want to ask the question: how do you balance the two? One, posting content which are very important, and secondly, getting the attraction, because it is the attraction that will give you opportunity. That's my question.
Wonderful question.
Okay, my question is about LinkedIn. So I'm Cavendish, I'm from MEST, and today we had a discussion about LinkedIn, specifically about profile pictures. So there was this emphasis of the kind of picture that you should post as a profile pic, especially being professional, how you're supposed to be dressed. So my question is, it just feels as if LinkedIn is a bit biased. What if I'm in a kind of a profession that is not so formal? I'm a gym instructor, or I'm a salsa dancer professionally. What kind of a profile picture should I post? Or should I be a salsa dancer but I'm dressed in an office suit? How will I be able to get brand endorsements, or how will I be able to do advertisements for maybe entertainment companies? If someone would just go to my LinkedIn profile and say I'm dressed in a suit, but yet I'm a professional salsa dancer. So if I am working in an informal sector, such as a career, would it be okay to post a profile picture that can actually speak of what I do? Yeah.
Wonderful. You want us to take those? All right. Please, let's take those, and then we'll quickly continue.
All right, so I'll take the second question. That's the expression that you should dress for the job you're looking for. So if you're a gym instructor, there is no reason why anybody is looking, for your picture to be highly suited up. It's completely okay for you to be in your gym attire. That's what you do, and that's what you're looking for as well. And so, of course, you tailor what is on your social media to what you're looking for. I hope that makes sense.
Wonderful. And then Eda first.
Yeah.
Just before I came here, I saw the permission of two friends of mine to share their experiences. So one is Jeremiah Boabeng, he's a motivational speaker. Another is Kosi Akpala. Kosi is a pharmacy student, extremely intelligent but very funny.
Yeah.
And to answer the journalism student, how do you build content and still maintain audience? So Jeremiah Boabeng is a motivational guy who is very consistent with his post on Facebook. He tries to motivate people, how to make a difference in your world and how to touch lives, and et cetera, et cetera. And that consistency has earned him a certain audience, to the extent that, and it's funny how I heard somebody say in a hotel some time ago that I slept in, that even if Lumba coughs on a cassette, she'll buy. So people get to that extent where they build such loyal following that even if you come and write a comma, the person will get about 85, 90, 150, or 200 likes. Now, we all started from that point, where when you post, it's just yourself, your sister and your mother.
Yeah. Sometimes in the spirit of sympathy, your ancestors come back, just like it and go.
But hey, keep on keeping on, persevere. Now with Kosi Akpala, Kosi, like I said, is a very intelligent guy.
Yeah,
he went to
Science and Masques, I remember.
Yes, went to Infantable. But Kosi is funny. And all his posts are humoric. Anything Kosi writes is funny. And you come and write, we scare.
He's a pharmacist,
He's a pharmacist. He's a pharmacy school. extremely intelligent. But that's how. So you see, my point is, we don't need to. I think we have to be careful. We don't devise a one-size-fits-all approach. Not everybody has to be suited up. You know, different things apply to different people. So depending on what your passion is, the point is that just don't be vulgar, don't be crude, don't be rude, don't be arrogant, don't be disrespectful, don't be insulting. Be decent. Kosi is decently funny, if you like. All right. So, bro, keep on keeping on, eh? From 3, you jump to 10 and 20 and 50, and you know, can never tell.
Don't give up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Elikem Jame from Doxa Open University. I want to ask, just as my sister did, how do you put a brand on diversity? Maybe you cannot be associated with a particular thing, like say you sing. Maybe you can sing, you can dance, you can present, you can do many other things. So how do you put a brand on that when no one can push you to, hey, this guy does this?
Okay, should I answer that?
Yeah.
Okay, so with branding, right? Consistency is key. Also, people must know you for one thing, at least in the beginning. You should pick out amongst the things that you feel like you're diverse at, which one are you really, really good at? And then you push it in your audience's face till they accept you for that. Once they accept you, you can throw in the other things. That's why you see, let's say Idris Elba, or Kevin Hart is an actor, the next moment, or Jamie Foxx is a perfect example. He's an actor, then he can do music. But you've accepted him as an actor, so when he does the other things, it's an add-on, you understand? But you don't try and push all 4 at the same time. People will be like, Massa, what are you doing? Like, what does he do? What does this girl do? You get what I mean? Yeah, so pick one that you're really good at, push it down their throats. When they accept you for that, the other things are just add-ons. They'll jump on it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Neverson. Actually, I'm a poet, a designer, and a model. But I'm more passionate about what I do as in being a psychologist. I'm a psychology student, though. And I'm a health ambassador for Ghana Health Service. I know some way
Relax,
somehow,
please. Big things come in small sizes.
I'm going to drop my modeling and then probably the fashion designing, and then take up the career as a psychologist. And then I've linked, I have a Google Plus account, and I've linked it to my Instagram and then my YouTube. But when you go to Google and when you search Chenekome, you see it with my piece.
Oh, you're the
linked
one.
to my Blogspot account. But I want to ask that after my education, I'm seeking a job probably at the health sector. And I check my my Google name, and you see all these pictures over there, like me being a model, my runway pictures and all those stuff over there. But then I've stopped, I've quit the door. How is it going to affect me? Is it positively or negatively?
That's an HR one, so...
Yeah, sorry, these are not like vulgar naked pictures or anything like that, right? It's just you modeling. I mean, there's... Look, I mean...
He said not yet. I don't know what that means. But that's okay, we can just...
I don't want to give the impression that we're saying, you know, you shouldn't have a life on Facebook, because, I mean, I know I have a life on my Facebook account. So, you know, just because, I mean, you're a model, that's you know, you were doing that while you were in school. That's admirable. You had a job when you were in school. So I don't think any organization is going to take it against you that was your profession while you were, you know, doing your psychology degree, like at all. I know that I wouldn't anyway.
Good evening.
Just to add on to what Nas said, I think, how do you channel what you do into a strength? So often people ask me, should I write my strengths and my weaknesses on my CV? And I'll tell them yes. But write your weakness such that it comes across as a strength. And this is an example. I can say that I am extremely analytical, and I write it as a weakness. Now, I'm an extreme perfectionist. Now, being an extreme perfectionist can be a weakness, because what it does is that sometimes it delays work. You want to read through over and over again and all of that. But it's also a strength. In some industries, we want people who are extreme perfectionists. You know, so if you did a runway or modeling stuff whilst you're on campus, what advantage do you pull out of that experience? It's confidence. So you are that person that can represent the company at places that people are shy of. And like Nas said, you have a life. You see, increasingly, the workplace has become like a home. We spend more of our life at work, probably at home. And so we're looking for people with multiplicity of talents that we can leverage on when it matters. So you did modeling. It means that you are confident. You had exposure with crowd, and you are not intimidated. We can leverage on that to do other things as a company and all of that. So know how to sell your strengths, the things you do, or cool out strengths for the things you have done to sell or pitch to companies. I know somebody who interviewed for a job just after he had finished school, and he was thrown a question, so we don't think you have experience. And he was SRC president at Central University. He quickly rebutted, I have a lot of experience, sir. I was SRC president. I managed a budget of about 10 million Ghana cedi. I supervised about 15. I had 15 people in my executive committee who each had subcommittees. I had about 50 people under management. I had this budget. And I mean, the guy started telling what he was doing as an SRC president. And he quoted it to that of a senior manager. And hey, the panel was impressed. Bernard said something very early in his presentation. The best interviewees are those that convert an interview into a conversation. And this is my personal experience. Thank you.
All right. Love it. A round of applause, please. Thank you.
My name is Seyoram, and my question is, there are certain key jobs that obviously you need tertiary education to master. Let's say the accountants, the auditors, like the HR stuff. But there are certain jobs that actually you can perfect at home through YouTube, through people who got there. So let's say mostly the creative industry. Maybe I learned to act. I act in my mirror. I learned to take photography. I learned online. Sewing, you can do those things at home. But it gets to a point where you actually go find a job just to raise money or something. And then they'll ask you, what's your educational level in this thing that you are pursuing? But you learned at home and you are perfect. So how do you include that in your CV?
That's a tricky one. Just don't add doctor to your name, that's all.
Hello, I'm Ophelia. And please, so the 140 character CV, what does it entail? Like, what are the major things you can put in a 140 character CV?
First, master your summary, and then the others she would give you. Yeah, all right. So there we have it. Our final two questions.
The one.
Sure.
For the things you can master, which you can't study formally, within the space of social media and digital, at the moment in Ghana, that's the space that you're in. Most people who want to pursue a career there, in our space, there isn't an institution that offers that. So often you have to be curious enough to want to learn and teach yourself. And there are opportunities there. I'm not asking you to have a certificate. It's not really about the certificate. It's about demonstrating that you know how to do the job. So there it's about the practical thing. Can you do what you say you can do? Yes, show me that you can do it, and you'll be able to work in this stage. Unless you're going to go abroad and get the certificate for the job, but even then you'll have to show me that you know how to do what you're saying you need to do. Sure. So in the social media, digital space, so let's say community managers, you can't go and study community management here. If I'm hiring a community manager, I'm going to ask you, like, what social media platform do you have? You tell me I have this. Okay, so tell me how you go about doing a post, and you'll describe to me the process. Tell me how you extract insights from your page. And if you know how to do it, you'll be able to describe to me the process of doing that. Tell me how you would select or a target audience. You would know how to do it. And that would prove to me that I could hire you to do the job.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Okay, so we are far behind time.
There was a second question.
Okay, yeah, there was a second question, please. Second question, sorry.
Okay. So, so on the second question, I think she asked about the 140 character CV and what you should do with that. I think it's very important that you are able to capture the audience's attention within the first 10 seconds that I'm reading what you're sending me. So really the tweetable.
Sorry, we'll be out in 2 minutes. So those of you leaving, please.
We'll keep it short.
We'll keep it very short for you.
So you need to capture the audience's attention right away. And I gave the example in the beginning about, the person who saw the link on my Facebook profile and sent me something about him being an IT expert, and he set up and just sold his IT company for $500,000. I immediately want to know more about what this person has done. So make it very relevant. It's also called your elevator speech. So basically in a sentence, tell me what it is that you can do for me, that you can offer me, and who you are.
Wow, lovely. Let me just quickly take your final words. They're going to be very brief, but thank you all for your questions, and thanks to those who joined us online as well. The rest of the program activities continue till the 15th. You can keep the hashtag or follow it for more updates. All right, so final words.
I'm impressed by the mindset. There in this room, there's a growing digital mindset, which is starting from social media. It's the way that you express the importance of growing your fan base or understanding how you can use content to engage people, which is the mindset that we need people to have. But we shouldn't also forget that there's a physical world, and what you do in that physical world, you can link to your social media or digital platform.
So there is a connection.
That's it. There's a connection between the two. It shouldn't just exist there.
All right.
I'll say that there's a mindset in Ghana of connection. If you want a good job, someone needs to give you a connection. And that's something that has been out there. When I joined Vodafone Ghana, and I realized that actually, even if you're the CMO, you can't just bring someone in by connection. They're looking for people who are going to make an impact and turn the business around. I'll say my younger sister got a job through LinkedIn from someone that she knows from Adam. Like, she doesn't know the person from anywhere. And she has a job in Dakar with an apartment overlooking the sea, with big salary, a driver, and she's younger than me 2 years. And she got that through LinkedIn. I would say that the only connection that you need for a job is a good internet connection. Yeah, that's all.
Sharp. I like that.
Yeah, I think I've said this already, but I'll just really emphasize that you need to be very intentional about what you want to share on social media, knowing that, companies may look at your online. Definitely have fun, but also be intentional, especially if you're actively looking for it. And also use keywords in, the job postings that you're applying for, and let it be easy. Make it easy for companies to find you. I'll give an example of myself. I was actually, so Vodafone had decided to launch a search for an HR director in Ghana, and back then I was in the US. So they had commissioned this search firm in Singapore to look for an HR director who has Ghanaian background, he's from Ghana. So, I was sitting somewhere minding my own business, and I got a call from a recruiter in Singapore asking that they had found my profile on LinkedIn, and would I be willing to have a conversation with them, and was I open to relocate back to Ghana? So that's how it all started. So you should really be very intentional, especially on LinkedIn, because recruiters do look there. So be very intentional. Make sure that your profile is very current, and you're telling recruiters that you're actively looking for a job.
Wow.
So John Legend once said that we're a generation that cannot afford to wait. The future began yesterday, and we're already late. Go and make impact. God bless you.
Like that. Phil?
For the young ones here, and including myself, I'll say, have your fun. Do it measuredly. If you want to build yourself on something like what I've done with my blogging about business, economics, and stuff like that, please read. It's not by magic. I just didn't get up one day and started reading. I used to buy Daily Graphic when I was in level 200 and read it in the library. And you see my friends laughing at me that this guy is old, this guy is old, this guy is old. It was that reading habit. Third year I did it, fourth year I did it. I built it. You see me watching documentaries over the weekends and stuff like that. I'm always watching Bloomberg. And it went on and on before I put it on social media. And then it got me my job, and today I'm sitting here with you. So just continue reading and then build yourself up. You'll be there.
Thank you. That's Philip Ganda Namfuri for you, and he's with XYZ Broadcasting. A round of applause for him, please. And let's continue to show love to Dave Mills. He's with Lene Services. A round of applause, please. And of course, Hannah Ashiokai Akrong. You have a blog as well, right? I don't. Okay. All right. A round of applause. She's Director of HR, Vodafone. Very good brother, Bernard Kafui Sokwe, Branch Manager of Haptel. Last but not the least, we have the Director of Business Development at Now Available Africa, an entrepreneur, right? Venus Tevia. So that's all time will allow us for today, but you can catch the rest of the action tomorrow. We are live at the Accra Mall.
Vodafone, power to you.